I've just had an epiphany, and I know why I've not caught any fish. So obvious. I mean, I hooked into one last night, lost it. Apart from that, I've had nothing. I've had a floater out all day. The fish have been cruising up and down. I've not one slight interest in any of my bait. And I know why, and I'm going to show you why. All this time, forgot my lucky mascot. Oh, guaranteed some fish now. Guaranteed. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome again to FFT. Where do you find me today? Well, today I'm back down at Clearwater. We're on Kent's Bank. Today was supposed to be a bit of a mini social. I was going to be joined by Phil and Gavin. Phil is actually on his way here, so there is going to be me and Phil. But unfortunately, Gav has been plagued by an infestation of lice. So unfortunately he's having to have some treatment this weekend, so he can't make it. So if you're watching, Gav, get well soon, buddy. Anyway, the lake looks pretty busy. I think we're going to struggle getting a peg next to each other, but we'll play it by ear and see what we can do. Catch up with you soon. Well, we finally set up. As I said, the lake's pretty busy, and there was no pegs next door to each other. So we've there was 4 available, 1, 8, 12, and 10 I think was available. So being the good guy that I am, I gave Phil first choice, and he's jumped into number 8. And I've done the social thing and set up facing him. So we've sort of like we've got half and half of the lake looking at each other. Now, I've had a bit of a lead around. Obviously, we're in the deeper end of the lake, so the chances are there's not going to be much feeding on the bottom. I've had a bit of a lead, well, I've had a good lead around. I've got a rod, literally three rod lengths out in front of me to the right. I put one down the left margin. They're both on the solid bags, because I believe there was someone fishing in here just before I came in, so I don't know what bait's gone in. So for the first 24 hours I won't be probably introducing any more. So 2 solid bags on there, and the middle rod I've actually brought some gear to target the catfish. There's some big catfish in here. One of them goes up to over 45 pound. So I've got them 2 rods set, and I'm just in the process of tying the rig. I'll just show you. Quite a nice straightforward rig. I'll just be running on a running lead clip. It's just some 30 pound quarter braid down to size 2 hook with a kicker on. Long hook there with 2 15mm pellets on, and I've just topped that with a squid wafter. I've got some 8mm halibut pellets, some fish oil, some tins of anchovies. So I'm going to mash all them up. I'm going to get a little bit of bait out. I found a good spot. It drops from about 9 foot to 13 foot. It's like a steep drop. So I want to be fishing just off the 9 foot drop into the 13 foot. That's where I'm going to set that trap. And that's what I'm doing. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame we couldn't get next to each other, I guess. But you know, it's day ticket fishing. You can never be guaranteed any pegs. So we're doing what we're doing. I think we're going to have a takeaway later for tea, so I'll have a wind in, and then I'll probably go around and join Phil over his side. But apart from action goals, we literally just had the rods in the water for 10 minutes, so nothing doing now. I'm just going to get this catfish rig set up and get some bait out there for later on today. So we've got this is my mix I've mixed up for the catfish. Some 8mm pellets, some chopped anchovies, some fish sauce, you know, that you get for like Chinese cooking, and some squid and Nash bait additive. It absolutely stinks So I'm going to get that out there on the spot for later on. Right, so fairly settled now. Rod's been in water about 2 hours. Nothing doing. I haven't put the middle rod out yet, but I've just thrown 10 bombs of that that mix up for the catfish. Plan is now, I've just put my order in with Phil. He's treating me to a takeaway, which is kind of him. So he's going to put the order in. Then I'll have a drive around, go on to his peg, have a reel in, have some tea, then come back, and then I'll think about what I'm going to do with the rods. Probably be sacking the PVA bags off. Maybe just put some bottom baits out just in the same sort of areas and put that catfish rig out for the night. Have a couple of beers maybe, and get in the bivvy and chill out. Weather's looking all right. It's not too hot. It's pretty overcast. There's quite a few fish showing in this area of the lake. So with any luck, we might get a fish or two. There's a guy fishing on peg 10 just outside of me. We've been having a good chat. He's a good guy. He mentioned that his mate sent him a YouTube link to one of my videos, so he may recognise me. It seems to be happening quite a bit nowadays. I'm going to end up being a local celebrity by the years out. But anyway, so yeah, rods will be coming in shortly when the food order arrives, and then I'll probably do a little bit of filming on Phil's peg and have a catch up with Phil, see how he's getting on. Just give you a quick run through this top end of the lake, which we've not fished before. So this is peg 12 where I am, and over on that corner, get my finger in shot, just there, that is where I was fishing before in peg 5 in my earlier video. And as you can see, it's like a big bowl here, and it dips right in front of me. I've got about 20 foot of water in the middle, but I found that spot. It's about 13 foot. It drops from 9 to 13 quite savagely, and then shallows out. Well, say shallows out. It settles out to 20 foot like a natural incline, but there is a bit of a shelf. So I'm just fishing just off that shelf. So with any luck, that might pick a catfish up later on. So just got back in my peg. Just been over to Phil's side of the lake. Had the curry. Absolutely spot on. It was really nice. I had a chicken tikka, jalfrezi, bit of rice chips, peshwari naan. It was good. So I've just come back over. Slight change in where I'm fishing now. I've put my left rod further down the margin, similar sort of distance out. I've put my middle rod about 6 wraps out where it's sort of shelving up, where I've been carp cruising along that line all day. They're both on solid bags. As I said, I'm not putting any bait in until tomorrow because I've no idea what bait's gone in. And then my right hand rod, got my catfish rig out, got it on the money, and that's set for the evening. Conditions are good. It's quite mild. Temperatures have not been that high today. It's been quite warm, but nothing major. It's a bit overcast. There's no wind on now. The wind's died off completely, so the lake is very still. There's no signs of fish over the past 15 minutes since I've been sat here, but it is only 8 o'clock. So we'll see. We've just entered bite hour now, so my rods are out on time. They're all on the money, all on good spots. I've got a bottle of Desperado to have a go at. Going to sit back, chill out, enjoy the last hour and a half or so of daylight before retiring to my bivvy. Plan for the evening in the bivvy. Well, I've got the latest 4 episodes of Ozark dropped a few months back, which I've not got around to watching yet, so the final 4 episodes. So I think I might crash through them tonight. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll be too preoccupied with fish to worry about Netflix. But anyway, we live in hope, don't we? Anyway, I'll catch up with you again soon. Young Phil is there. Get my finger on it in the camera. Where is it? That's young Phil there. I'd like to say a big thank you, Phil, to purchasing that curry. It was very good, so thank you for that. He's in a pretty decent swim there, I think. And the guy to the left of him on shot has had a few fish over the last couple of days, and the guy to the right of him on shot I've had a few fish over the past couple of days. So he's sandwiched in between two people who've caught. Whether or not it's going to help him or not, I don't know. But I feel like he's in a reasonable spot there. Well, it's just gone 1:45 and I've just lost one. Dead to the world. Woke up by the receiver. Stuck into it. Had it on for about 5 minutes. Felt like a really good fish. And I had a crack off. I'm not sure why. Checked the line, just a clean break above where the leader was. So not quite sure what's happened there. A bit gutted, to be honest. It felt like a decent fish. It did have a massive ball of weed on it. Couldn't even see the fish. I got it quite close in, and then it made a dart down, and off it went. Anyway, I've just re-rigged up, cast back out to where it was. It was the middle rod that was fished more into open water, so I just put another bag on that. Now it's gone. I hope I haven't missed my chance for the session. I hope there's some more fish to be had. But anyway, back into bed, see if we can get a bit more sleep before sunrise. Never mind. Good morning, everybody. Time is now 6:45. Only just woke up. A little bit disappointed after last night. Got back in my bed about, what time was it? 5 to 2. I couldn't get to sleep after that. I was up till way gone 3. Brain was just ticking over. But obviously you'd like to land every fish that you hook, but it's not always possible. So just one of those things. So yeah, plan for today. Well, I'm going to make a brew, and that's about as far as I've got. So I'm going to make a brew, and then I'm going to decide what to do. What I would say is, it's not even 7 o'clock yet, but there's fish cruising around everywhere. The sun's up in the sky, it's so bright. I think the chance of a fish this morning, afternoon, is going to be very, very small. There is not a drop of wind. It's unbelievably still. I will spin the camera around just so you can have a quick look, but whether or not the camera will pick up with the sun being so high, I don't know, but I'll show you. Wait, I'm just going to point that at the sun just there for you. And there is not a movement on the water apart from a few fish topping. It's going to be a tough day's fishing today. Sun creams are going to be needed. Possibly some speedos. Anyway, I'm going to go make my brew. So a bit of an update for you guys. I've actually moved. Quite a lot of the guys who are fishing are coming off 1 o'clock. So I've jumped into peg 10, which is in the corner. Been talking to the bailiffs and a guy who fishes here quite a lot, and he said it can be quite a prolific peg. So I've seen a lot of fish cruising. At the moment I've got 2 zigs out, and I've just put a floater out just now in the bay. So I'm fully moved. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick with it till about 3 o'clock on the surface, and then I'm going to go down the margin. You got to access all the margin. Just take my leading rod down there and just find a couple of little spots just to put some baits on tonight. But yeah, it's hot. I mean, I don't want to throw excuses out, but it is hot. I mean, all the fish, they're all up in the water. You can see them all. There's there's big shoals everywhere, but they're just not interested. So I'm going to try my best, but I am genuinely hopeful for this evening. This is apparently one of the best pegs on the lake on its day. So come about 7 o'clock when the sun drops, as long as I'm fishing right, I'm confident that I can actually maybe get a fish or two tonight. Genuinely, I'm confident. I know I do say I'm confident all the time, but I am actually genuinely confident this time. Today, I don't think much is going to do, but you never know. You know, as I just said, that a fish just cruised just past my floater, just showed no interest whatsoever. So yeah, I think this evening into tonight, I think we could have a fish or two. I really do. So fingers crossed, and let's see how we get on. I'll just run you through where I am now. I'm in peg 10, and as you can see, I've got the corner. It's about 7 or 8 foot, then drops down to 13, then down to 17, then down to 20 right on the edge. But the water's about a foot down. But along that margin there, you can actually hand feed. I know the guy over there in that peg, he had a few fish last night, and he's fishing what they call the washing line style. So I have got the gear to do that, so I may do that later on and show you how to do it. But I haven't fully decided yet. We'll see how we go. I've got a floater just out in more open water. Then there's some fish cruising around it, but they're not showing any interest. But we shall persevere, and yeah, let's see how we get on. Well, we've just turned 2 o'clock, and nothing's happened as of yet. Been pretty quiet. There aren't as many fish cruising around as there were earlier. So yeah, just biding the time a little to sort of after tea. I've been down the far margin with my marker rod, just been dropping in the edges. Found some good spots. So what I'm going to do in a couple of hours is I've tied some rigs up, just like a standard blowback rig on a leader. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to attach a lead to 2 of my rods, and I'm going to cast them at the spots, but over the spots and onto the bank. And then I'm going to go around, I'm going to get the marker rod, drop my marker float into exactly where I want. I'm then going to drop my rig on the marker float, a couple of scoops of bait over the marker float, and then come back and then obviously set the rods on the pod so I know they'll be fishing perfectly. I'm going to put one in the corner. I'm going to do something similar, although I'm just going to put the marker rod in exactly where I want it. I'm going to walk the rod down, just going to underarm the rig to the marker float, another scoop of bait around that, come back and set the rod, and they'll be set for the evening. Confident, you know, this is one of the best pegs on the lake. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident, to be fair. I think I need to come more on a Sunday, to be honest, though, because the lake is pretty much empty. We've got it to ourselves almost. There's 2 lads left on, but they're leaving at 5, so we're gonna have the place to ourselves. Yeah, so 4 acres to go at, and I'm fishing in a little tiny corner, but that's fishing. So yeah, weather's going to be good. I've got the perfect spot. I've got no excuses. If I don't catch, there's no excuses. It's going to be perfect this evening. So this is going to test me. I'm going to catch something. I've got to catch. Shouldn't have said that, should I? Because I'm going to blank. But anyway, I'm going to try my best. These are the rigs for this evening. I've got a 12mm wafter, 12mm pink wafter, and it's a 15mm yellow wafter, which I've cut down, make it a bit more raggedy. They're all on just a simple blowback rig. A little kicker there. Down to 12" of reflex camo onto an inline sliding lead, which then runs down onto a metre long lead core leader. I've just hand delivered every single rod. I have got a wafter in the reeds near them lilies there. I've got a bait just by that white post there, and I've got one under that snaggy tree there, tight under that tree. All the spots are baited. All that's left for me to do now is sit back, relax, and wait for the fish. I've just had an epiphany, and I know why I've not caught any fish. So obvious. I mean, I hooked into one last night, lost it. Apart from that, I've had nothing. I've had a floater out all day. The fish have been cruising up and down. I've not one slight interest in any of my bait. And I know why, and I'm going to show you why. All this time, forgot my lucky mascot. Guaranteed some fish now. Guaranteed. Good morning, everybody. Very quiet night. It started to rain about midnight. Didn't stop till this morning. About half an hour the sun came out though. It is 8 o'clock. I've been up since about 6:30. I've had nothing all evening. Not a bleep on the indicators or anything. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to wind one rod in. I'm going to put a floater out in the middle just to see if I can snare something off the top, because I think it's unlikely getting anything off the bottom in this heat. Debate whether to put some zigs out or not. I'm being completely honest with you, I don't know if I can be bothered. So yeah, nothing to report. So I'm going to have a brew and get stuck into a bit of float fishing. The time is it's actually pretty much finished. But the bailiffs kind of agreed to let me stay on for a couple of hours. Just to have a wander around just with my floating rod. There's only 2 other guys booked on the lake today, so it's pretty empty, so he's not bothered at all. So the car's fully packed. I've just got a rod, little buckets to bits and a rod rest, and I'm just going to give it a couple of hours just on the surface, try a few little different areas just to see if I can salvage this session. We shall see. Well guys, I'm afraid I'm pretty much at the end now. I've had nothing on the surface. It's been a difficult couple of days, to be honest. Still feeling the impact of losing that fish on Saturday night. That could have been a session maker. As it's been a session breaker. Bit of a shame me and Phil can get a peg next to each other, so we could have had a bit more of a social fishing session rather than looking at each other from across the lake. But I guess that's day ticket fishing sometimes. But I've been out on the bank. It's been enjoyable, to be fair. I'll be back again. It's going to come good one day, I'm telling you. I'm going to have a big hit of fish one day. It's going to happen. I just don't know when. But anyway, if you've liked the video, give me a thumbs up, comment in the bottom, and if you're feeling really generous, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I'll see you again.